Hello everybody, my name is Dylan, and this definitely isn't the second time I'm recording this because I forgot to press record the first time. Recently, I've been playing a couple of games, this one and Disco Elysium, and despite being obviously very different, I've made the decision with both of them to not look up anything online about them, specifically not trying to look up any solutions to puzzles or guides or meta builds or, what tier lists of what the best items to take are. I'm trying to actually experience figuring them out for myself. They're low-pressure single-player environments, and, in the case of this game, it's a roguelite, so it really doesn't matter. Failure isn't a huge issue. But even still, in the past, I think I probably would have looked online, at least in the case of Megabonk, for said optimal builds or tier lists about items. I'd be afraid of getting stuck for a long period of time. The amount of time it would take to learn. I think for some reason I used to feel like I had to prove myself, that I was a good gamer, I was good at this. And playing these games recently, I guess I've made the conscious realization of something that's been changing over the course of probably years at this point. But that is that I just don't really give a shit. And so that's what I wanted to talk about in this Game in the App. Stop giving a shit about things that don't really matter. I spent way too much time expending mental energy worried about shit like my own perceived skill at a single-player game. Being good mattered more than just kind of having fun. And don't get it twisted, I'm not saying you should never get invested in how good you are at a video game or, your opinion on a piece of art or a hobby you're trying to pick up or whatever it is. Another game I'm playing right now is Deadlock, and that's one that I am looking up advice on the internet for. I'm still trying to figure out a lot of it myself, but I am also, recognizing where it would no longer be fun for me to try to learn on my own, and where outside information would make it more fun. And in that game, I do care about failing and making mistakes, and I am invested. So I'm not saying that it has to be all or nothing. Very few things are in life. There is a balance to be struck. It's just one that I probably would have struggled to find in the past, and I think I'm at a point where I'm actually pretty good at doing it. I've recently been making a more conscious effort, in general, even... Whoa! Sorry. Particularly, I've just kind of stopped affording any mental energy towards dumb shit, or at least I've been trying harder to. And I think it's partly because, I'm expending a good amount of mental energy worried about my country of residence slowly marching towards a totalitarian government or whatever. And yet there are still bitches in my ears telling me that the thing I need to be worried about is DEI programs and woke Hollywood, or fucking a transgender woman wants to play basketball. What the fuck? Yeah, man, those are a real threat to our society. There are concentration camps. Bearing witness to that darkly comedic level of disconnect from reality has been honestly kind of instrumental in helping me realign my own priorities in life and start, focusing my energy towards the things that I love and trying to remain relatively unbothered by all of the needless noise. And that's not to say that I'm not also fucking terrified of what's happening in this country. I'm just trying to use this position of privilege that I am in to live a more fulfilling life, actually fill up my time doing things that I love instead of just being paralyzed by fear and sadness and anger all the time. And don't get it twisted, anger's a necessary thing to feel right now, as are, fear and sadness. We should be a little bit of all of those things. MGMT said it best when they said if you're conscious, you must be depressed or at least cynical. It is a rough time to be even remotely fucking intelligent right now. And so those emotions are necessary, to feel. Anger cannot be the only thing. You also have to have hope and, an actual belief that the world could get better. If you actually believe in a better tomorrow, it makes it a lot easier to want to improve yourself and your own life today. I've been doing my damnedest to spend time more meaningfully, exercise my fucking free will, not get paralyzed by rage bait on the internet or purposefully seek out something that I know is going to make me upset. And so again, we arrive back at the sort of crux of the reason I'm making this video, which is the idea that, you should really just stop giving so much of a shit about super dumb things. And in particularly in my case, a lot of that was about what other people believe about me, I guess. It doesn't take long going online to find somebody who disagrees with you, even on really banal shit like a season of television, to tell you that actually you're coping and you don't think it's good. You know that it's bad and you're just lying to yourself. And I used to almost believe that. I don't think I ever truly did, but I did at least used to let it affect the way I would consume the pieces of art that those people were criticizing, you know, like if a video game or a TV show or a movie or whatever it is, you know, I used to let it affect me. I used to give a shit, but now, you know, I don't give a shit. Like recently I found myself looking at a comment section that I specifically knew it was gonna piss me off and make me feel worse. And I did it anyways, and guess what? It did piss me off and make me feel worse, and it was dumb, and I shouldn't have done it. I knew it would make me feel all those things, and I think I was seeking them out to, like, distract from the responsibilities I had and my general stress and, you know, the capital B, capital S, big sad. So now when I get that desire to, like, doom scroll or, you know, seek out things that I know are gonna upset me in some capacity, I will instead turn to pieces of art that can evoke similar emotions or, you know, more positive ones, maybe. I've been trying to collect more physical media and, you know, go to that instead of my phone. It's really easy to want to doom scroll, and, like, I understand that every day that there's a headline that isn't the one, you know, the one, the big one, the one we've all been waiting for this whole time, the one that you know I'm talking about. Reading every headline that isn't that one can be bad for the mental, and it can be easy to turn to doom scrolling to numb that feeling, but really all it does is exacerbate it. So rather than trying to numb myself, I've been kind of seeking the exact opposite. I've been trying to seek out feeling, you know, big emotions, watching movies I know will make me cry, listening to, you know, Rage Against the Machine shit, allowing art to take me on that wide spectrum of emotions, instead of, you know, experiencing all of them in the span of like 10 Instagram reels. So in those cases, instead of being subjected to the infinite slop machine, I'm getting to experience these wonderful pieces of art again. So even though it doesn't make the darkness go away, I promise you, it will make it lighter. But I digress, you know, I got a little sidetrack there. But it really all ties back into the idea of not caring about dumb shit and not seeking out dumb shit that you know will make you upset. It kind of has to start with not caring, because then going into a comment section I know I disagree with wouldn't even have that emotional effect on me, and so I would be more able to just be like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, and then go watch a movie instead, you know? I've pretty much all but stopped going on Reddit as well, unless it's because I need actual results to a Google search I made. And it's just because the most prominent voices on Reddit are often like smarmy, you know, Tips Fedora Milady types that really just think that every opinion they have is some enlightened, godlike take that's never been conceived of, and everyone who disagrees with them is just coping with the fact that they are wrong. And if I sound upset, it's because I don't like that website. That's why I stopped going on it. Another thing I've tried to stop doing is like watching YouTube videos in my recommended about things that are just like making fun of a lol cow or documenting the drama of some internet personality I've never heard of. I saw a couple of YouTube videos recently pop up in my recommended about the downfalls of internet personalities I was aware of or used to watch, and even in that case I was just like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm going to watch something else instead. I'm gonna put on the Jenny Nicholson Star Wars Hotel video for the 9th time, and I'm gonna like it. I've also kind of stopped keeping up with a lot of trends, and like, I understand it might sound like I'm saying all this shit to be super not like other girls. It's just kind of a consequence of not going on the platforms that make me upset anymore. I didn't really know what 6'7" was until like a week ago at this point. I've still never seen the original video. It's become a vocal stim. Regardless. But in the past, I think I would have put a lot of care into being unk and, you know, being out of touch with internet culture, not even the youths, but like just internet culture widely. I think it used to scare me that I might see a reference in a comment section or like in a Twitch stream I'm watching that I didn't understand. But now, and let's all say it together, folks. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, and I am free. And it's also helped me creatively too. I often get caught up in the specifics of trying to make content, you know, perfectly aligned with a goal or a vision that I had, or perfectly fit into a neat category. And that has led to moments where I've like convinced myself not to make videos because they wouldn't fit into like a set of arbitrary rules I had made in my own head and that nobody was enforcing. And like, that's partially what this series was made to, you know, avoid. Having a place where I can just yap about whatever the fuck I want and not worry about exactly what I want to make or making it perfectly scripted or articulated. Framing things around not giving so much of a shit and not overthinking. You know, I've made pretty much all of the Game in the apps I've made in the past, you can really, you can circle back to the idea of not overthinking thinking things. Like, I think literally all of them, frankly. Except for, like, the one that's about COD zombies, obviously. So yeah, to summarize, spend your time and energy wisely. It's not infinite. Be conscious of what you're choosing to do, what you're choosing to feed your mind and spend your time on. You have free will, and you should use it as much as you can. A lot of why doom scrolling kinda, I think, is so addictive is because it takes away the free will and the weight that comes with it, because, like, adulthood is cool because you're in control, but it's also terrifying because you're in control of a lot of it. Obviously, again, I'm saying this from a position of great privilege where, you know, I'm not worried about my house being bombed to rubble. I know that I'm going to be able to get a meal, and I don't have to worry about where it's coming from. I'm able-bodied, and I'm a white guy, and I live in America. In so many ways I can't control, I got very lucky. And in the ways I can control, I've been doing that luck a disservice, and I've been doing a disservice to all of the wonderful people in my life who helped me get to this position, as well as me who worked hard to get to this position. Squandering my free will, submitting it to the mighty scroll, allowing it to decide what I'm doing with the next hour and a half of my life. But really, I'm in control. I get to decide what the next hour and a half of my life is going to be full of, what exactly is going to get beamed into my eyeballs for the next hour and a half. And shit, that might be an hour and a half of scrolling Instagram reels sometimes, but everything in moderation. Really choosing to spend the time you have doing the things you love and surrounding yourself with the things that you love and the people that you love. It should pretty much always be the priority, even if it is a little inconvenient, or it'll take time away from being more massive, gigantic air quotes productive. I've been making small efforts to, like, spend 10 minutes playing with my cat, or, like, playing fetch with my dog, even though it takes away from time I could be being more massive, gigantic air quotes productive, doing more productive things. When I was a kid, those things just happened naturally, because I didn't give a shit. I wasn't worried about all this other bullshit. And while I understand that a lot of this advice is, like, difficult to immediately put into practice or achieve, you really can't expect anything to change in the long run if you keep going back to what's easy or comfortable, or, you know, waiting for what's perfect instead of what you truly want. Trust your gut more, maybe. That's also some advice I'm gonna tack on here. You know, here's a buzzer beater piece of advice for you. Stop doing what's easy and start doing what you love, and stop giving a shit if other people tell you that you shouldn't do that, because they're just a bunch of fucking losers and I'm the GOAT. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate it, as always. I hope I didn't go too off track here. I think I very much did. I don't know. It's late enough in the day that my medication has worn off. Either way, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Also, leave a comment if you have anything else to add, if you want to further the discussion in any capacity. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.